Hey everyone, today's overview and review video is on Terra Nova. So if you're new to the channel, this is Two Sheep, One Wheat. I'm Krissy.
And I'm Nick.
And if you're into board games, like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you're ultra into board games, we have added members to the channel where we learn all of our board games before we make content on them. And I just want to say a big thank you to all of the members who have already joined. So Nick is joining me for an overview and review today for Terra Nova. Hi!
I'm Nick.
All right.
Long-time listener, first-time viewer.
First time, what? That doesn't make any sense. You have been on the channel for 2 years. 2 years?
Almost.
Too long. So anyways, Terra Nova is like the easier version of Terra Mystica.
It's the new and improved, slimmed down, streamlined
version
Terra Mystica.
Of Terra Mystica.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like it. I think the
with
colors
upgraded colors.
They pop a little bit more.
Yeah.
But the idea is the same. If you haven't played Terra Mystica, it's what type of game?
It's an area control game.
It's an area control game.
Yep.
Yep. Building things up, spending money.
Yep.
Building them up some more. Getting some
you don't
points along the way.
need to play Terra Mystica to play Terra Nova.
No. Oh, no.
Right.
But you'll have...
you might actually enjoy it less if you have played Terra Mystica.
Depending if you like heavier games or medium
you'll
size
be comparing it to a game that you love already.
Yeah.
And it strips away a lot of things.
Maybe. We can leave that for the review at the end. Yeah. So anyways, we're going to jump down to the table and we're going to go over setup here first. So there's a couple of different, factions, players that you can play as. They are all different. There's an A side and a B side, so you just pick whichever one that you want. And so is the little player aid here that's going to help you out with the different options that are on your board. Yeah. So
it gives you a little bit of information about it.
Yeah, it's information. That's what I said.
And and you can mix and match.
Yes.
You don't. Everyone at the table does not need to play as A, and everyone play on B. You can have A's and B's. They're just different abilities, different factions,
different characters. Yep.
Yeah.
So anyways, every character is going to have a starting amount of money that you're going to start with, and that's at the top underneath the name. And we also have to set up our power here. So I think the power for the game is what's most complicated or what people have a hard time understanding with. But anyway, so this is how you're going to set it up. We'll talk about exactly how power works later on, but you're going to start with 4 in the 3rd slot, 2 at the 1, and 2 in the 2. And then you're basically going to collect all of your bits and pieces in the same color. Now, Nick and I do have a 2-player game going, so we have a bit of a 2-player variant setup. So we'll talk about that after the player setup. So basically, you're just going to collect all of your terrains here in the color that you are playing as, which is shown underneath of here too. And then you basically set up your houses at the bottom row, and then we have trading posts, and then we have palaces that these are basically just going to get upgraded, but this is where they are set up. And we also want to keep track of our sailing, and then we have a similar one that's going to keep track of our victory points. We also have bridges, which are just up here. We also have 4 town tiles, and these are for later on in the game because you're going to have to build up a little bit for that, but they basically just give you powers and coins and victory points too. So that's basically the player board set up. And then for the 2-player variant, we have just basically an extra faction that we're going to be placing out on the board. A neutral faction, yeah, exactly, just to kind of stuff up the board a little bit. So basically, one player puts out one, the next player puts out another one, and those are the 2 that are on the board. And then at the beginning of the 4th round is when the other 2 are going to come up, and they're going to be placed into the spots on the board that have the little house on it. This is for the 2-player side of the board. And then basically we're going to shuffle up the rounds here, these boards, and they're just going to be giving you some extra abilities throughout that round. And then we have our X tokens here that we're going to be placed out so that once you actually use them, you can cover them up. And then we're going to place out some bonus tiles too. So bonus tiles are 3 plus 1 for each player. So we have 5 for a 2-player game.
Yeah, that's the components.
Yeah, and setup.
Yeah, so setup, to finish setup.
Yes, you go ahead. I did half of it.
You
can do the other half.
So to finish setup, once you get all the board out, you have this all randomized. If you're playing with a 2-player variant, before you do anything else, going in turn order, you'll place down one of the neutral factions on one of the house spaces. We selected red.
Yep.
As our neutral faction. So, Krissy, you can put one out.
You just want to show?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll put one out. Right?
Yep. And then if you're not playing 2 players, you don't have to do this.
You don't have to do this. You can skip this step.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so if you're playing just a regular game, not 2 players, then it is the first player who gets to put out a house first. And then the last player, so whoever many players that you're playing with, the last player is going to put out 2, and then you're going to go counterclockwise.
Yeah, it goes in
clockwise
order,
then counterclockwise. Yep.
Just put one out, then I could put another one out.
We'll just show you how to do it.
Now that I'm
You're
last, I get to put another one out.
Yep. And then I will go as well. And
they have to go
right here.
Your home terrain, right?
Yes.
So mine's desert, Krissy's forest. You have to place your starting tiles. And so some factions have they all have abilities.
Yep.
But the Sun Worshipper's ability is to add an extra house out.
After everyone is done.
So after everyone's placed their houses, you get to go in last to add one more out to the pile.
Yep.
So then after that, going in counterclockwise order now.
Yeah, we get to pick
select these bonus tiles.
Exactly.
Okay, so I will take this one.
Yeah, because the money one is
money's useful.
One. Exactly. And you know what? Moving around power and stuff is pretty useful too. So
yeah.
I'm going to go with this one. And I'll do that right there. And then so any of the tiles that are left over at the end of the round, or at the beginning of the round after you choose them, just to entice people to take them, money is placed on top of them. So yeah, so that is complete setup. And then the first player gets to go.
You flip one of these over. And that will tell you the scoring for the round.
Yep.
So how to score points during the round.
Exactly. So that is all set up and everything. That's how you have it all set up. And then you're going to go in. There's 3 phases to each round. The first one is income.
Handy dandy player guides that will break it down. There's only 2 of them, but they are there. They break down the actions and everything. So.
Yep. Exactly. So phase 1 is just an income phase, and anything with a hand underneath of it, which is kind of why you're kind of setting up the board at the beginning too, so that you actually start with some kind of income and some kind of power. So anyway, so anything with a hand underneath of it is what you're going to be collecting. So you have a couple of hands here with money. This one here for my faction, the fairies, you start with, or you get 2 power to move power over. My bonus tile starts me off with money and power as well. So basically you're just going to collect the money that's on your board with the hand underneath, and for power you're going to move power around. So for mine right now I have 5. You can't move from 2 into 3 until 1 is gone. So I have 5, so I'm going to move 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5 into 3. So power is a fun little thing. You can use any power that is in the top 3rd area here into 1. So you can either convert it into coins or you can use it for the abilities that are on the board. But you can't move from level 1, or you can't move from level 2 into level 3 until level 1 is empty.
Yeah. So in the 3rd spot, you can always move power down.
Yes, always.
3 can always go down no matter what's in the other pools.
Yes.
But you can't move any power from pool 2 to 3 if there's power still in 1.
Exactly.
So all the power in 1 needs to be in 2 before any power in 2 can move to 3. So 3 can always move down. Doesn't matter the state of any of the other pools. 1 has to be empty before 2 can move into 3.
Yes.
Okay.
I have taught this game once, but because I did play Terra Mystica when I was at PAX Unplugged, and we did play this game, I played with 3 other people who hadn't played Terra Mystica, and Terra Mystica.
Did you play Terra Mystica at PAX Unplugged?
No, I didn't. I'm saying when we played this at PAX Unplugged, people who were there hadn't played Terra Nova, and they also didn't play Terra Mystica. So that's why I had a little bit more knowledge on how the power system worked, and that was the #1 thing that people were confused about.
Trip them up on?
Yes, exactly. So anyways, that's the power, and that's basically how you do the income phase, which is what I just did. I didn't take the money, but we all understand how to calculate money and take it, right?
Yeah, so the income phase, right? You have these houses give you money, right?
Yeah,
so
and some power eventually.
Yeah, power. And anything that have undercover those
Yeah.
Take all the hands.
Everything, even under the palaces too. And again, every faction is going to be different. So whatever it is, you'll just collect anything with a hand underneath. So that is income phase.
And it happens simultaneous. Yes. Everyone does income at the same time.
Exactly. And then, so that is the first phase. And then the second phase is actions.
Yeah.
And you get to talk about them.
And I get to talk about it.
Which we'll go into more depth about power as well, because there are actions about it.
Okay, so I can talk about the actions. That's fine. I
already told you. We already had this all planned out before we even started recording. So he knew he was doing actions.
Okay. So let's go with the action of terraforming. Or,
making a habitable and building on it.
We call it making habitable and building. But you're basically terraforming the space into your space.
Your terrain.
Right?
That you need to. Yeah.
So let's take this little section right here. Say I wanted to build here. I would have to make habitable and build. So if you look at your little wheel right here, everyone is different. So it takes me one shovel to be able to terraform or make habitable the red space, or one shovel to make the dark cave system.
The black or whatever.
Yeah. Habitable. Mm-hmm. It'll take 2 shovels for me to make the forest habitable, or 2 to make the lake spaces habitable. $6, you pay $6 for 1 shovel, or $12 for 2 shovels. Mm-hmm. That's on your player board. So if you pay, let's say I'm going to make this red space habitable, I'd pay $6 for my pool. I'd put this on here. Then I can build.
Yeah,
it's a free, it's a choice. You don't have to, but if you want to, you'll have to pay another $4, the cost of the house, to put it on here. So if I would have to pay $6 plus $4, so $10 to make habitable and to build. If I was going to go and build on this space, I'd have to spend $16, $12 to turn this habitable, and then $4 to build a house.
Yeah. And you always have to build a house first before you go to anything else.
Yes. Yes. You can't turn a house into a palace, and you can't put a palace where there's nothing. Mm-hmm. It always have to go house, trading post, palace.
Yep.
That is how you terraform or make habitable a space. So the next option is to upgrade a building. You have your house that you could turn into a trading post. So if I wanted to turn this house into a trading post, I'd only have to spend $7 because I'm next to another color. Mm-hmm. If I wanted to turn this house into a trading post, I'd have to spend $10 because I'm not next to another color. So that's what the 7/10 is. $7 if you're next to another color faction, or $10 if you're not next to a color faction. Okay, so I would pay $7, and then I could put this out here. This would go there, and this would go onto the leftmost available space, or the rightmost available space, empty space, recovering it up.
Yep. Well, that's basically how you upgrade that, and then to upgrade to a palace is basically the same thing.
Yep. You find a trading post that you have out on the board. It's pretty straightforward. It's just straight $14. You would put $14 in the bank.
Yep.
Swap it out, and that goes back on the empty space.
Yeah, and then something that we didn't say either is whenever you're building or upgrading and you're next to somebody, that is giving them power. So because, let's say Nick did upgrade this next to mine, I would be able to move power around. Yeah. 1 power.
So this was my original faction, right? So in turn order, if you would have built, if I put that there first, Krissy would have got a power.
Yep.
So say I did it, make habitable, and I made this habitable, and I decided to build here. Krissy would get to move a power over.
Yep.
If I did an upgrade action and it was next to Krissy's space, and I turned that into
I could upgrade a power
trading
as well.
post, she would get another extra power.
Yep.
Okay. If Krissy had 2 houses here, and I built a house, she would get 2 power.
Exactly.
If I upgraded it, she would get another 2 power.
Yeah, and say you were already there and I built there, then he would get 2 because 2 are touching it. Yep. It's a nice thing, especially if you're playing at 4 players, because it's a lot more crowded and you end up with a lot more power.
It's a more way. It's to kind of discourage you from building next to people. Right? It gives them a benefit. But it's also why building a trading post is cheaper, because you're benefiting them by building there.
Exactly.
So So the next action is to increase your sailing. So you start off at 0 sailboats. To increase your sailing action, it's $8. It's listed right there on the board. And you spend $8 and you would move it up. When you move it up, you cover up victory points. So you would take those victory points at that time. And now your ability is permanently increased to 1 sailboat. Now that 1 sailboat is how far you can reach from one of your towns across the river.
Mm-hmm.
So with a sailboat of 1, I could reach this space because...
From here.
From here.
Yeah. Right?
Because I either can go this way or I can go this hex. I can also reach this space because of this hex, right? So that is that. So if I would increase it to 2, I could go 1, 2, and I'd be able to build here, or I would be able to build here. So those do not count as adjacent or connected. That's just your reach. So they would not part of the same building complex. Because the ultimate goal is to build towns, which are 7 points. 7 points. So a palace is 3 points, a trading post is 2 points, and a house is 1 point. So your goal is to kind of get to 7. You don't really want to go over it because it's just a waste. If you get to 7, you get to put out one of your town markers, which gets you victory points.
Yeah, as long as that is your goal to do. But you can also, one of the ends scoring is longest route or longest whatever.
Yeah.
So.
But you can use your sailing to start new little townships, right? That are separate from the one you're already building on. Otherwise, you always have to build adjacent to one of your pieces, right? So I could not just start building here. I have to build alongside my piece or a space that's in reach, depending on my sailing. Okay, so that's why you start with starting houses out, and you can build around them, and then you can get your sailing to kind of extend your reach.
Yep.
To start new towns.
Exactly.
Or new areas to turn into towns.
Yep.
So then you have power actions. So the way you can spend your power. So you have these 5 on the 2-player side, 6 on the 2 to 4 player side.
Yeah, I think that's how many there are.
So basically, the top one is you spend 3 power, you get to put a road out.
We'll talk about roads a little bit more because that's
or
the next
build
action.
a bridge.
Or bridge. Yeah. It's the next action.
It's the next action. You can spend 4 power to increase your sailing.
Yeah, so basically it just means bringing it down into 1.
Yeah, when you spend anything in 3, it goes down to 1.
Yep.
That's spending.
You're starting it all over again.
You can spend 4 power just to get straight $7.
Yep.
You can spend $4 to get 1 shovel, right? Normally a shovel costs $6, but you can spend 4 power to get 1 shovel.
Yep.
And you can always offset it. If you spend 4 power for 1 shovel, you can spend $6 to get 2 shovels to make habitable.
And then 6 power, you can use the 2 shovels.
Yep.
And then you still also always have the option to spend the $4 to place a house on it.
So then your next action is to build a bridge, and that's on your board. It's right here.
Yep.
Between your palace, your markets, or
trading
posts,
and houses. Yep.
So the reason you'd want to do that is, again, to get to that 7 points for the town. So let's say I had built up here. I have this guy out now. I've managed to get this out.
Yep. That's not connected. It's not making.
So right now, I have 3, 5, 6 right there. Right. I have this other piece across the river, but it doesn't count for my town.
Yeah.
Because it's not adjacent. It's not technically adjacent. To make this space adjacent, I would need to spend $10 or 3 power to put a bridge out, which would make this space adjacent, and now it would be 7.
And as soon as that happens, then you can go through your town tiles and pick one.
Yep.
Which, like I said, give you power, victory points, and money too. So whenever you picked whichever one you want, say 9 victory points, you basically take it, and then you can just place it on there so that we know that that is a town, and you can't use it again as a town.
So you can build another town up here, right? Yellow could build another town and then later connect it. That's fine. But if it's connected before this becomes a town, then it's done. You're not going to ever turn that into a town. So don't go be connecting them because you won't get the towns out of them. The goal is really to make little towns. So don't go over the points needed, because you want to get these tiles out because they get you points and they get you resources, right? $6, 5 points. This one, elite power moves, $6, 9 points, 4 points, and you can move your sailing boat up one. Right?
So a potential of 8 victory points on that one.
Yeah.
Potential.
So it all depends on what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? 6 points plus 8 power might be what you want because you might have some available power actions.
Yeah.
So another thing, power actions are usable once per round. So if someone did use this one shovel for power, you'd cover it up so anyone else cannot choose it. It's gone.
Yep.
You'll uncover it at the beginning of the next round.
Phase 3 is clean up. Yep.
So then you can also do special actions. So special actions will either be on your bonus tile or on your player board. Okay, so these will be unique on your player board, and your little handy dandy sheet will explain how that ability works. Then you also have the abilities on your bonus tile, and this one is just basic, a one shovel. If you have these abilities, you'll have these little X tokens. When you use it, you just cover it up to mark that you've used it, since you can only use it once per round. Yep.
So that's basically it. And then the last thing is dropping out. And
yeah, if you can't do any other actions.
Yeah, you have no more money, you have no more power, then you just drop out. And then so dropping out, if you're the first player to drop out and you're not already first player, then the first player token is passed to you. And then this is when you can trade in or trade out your bonus tiles. So basically you just put it there. That should have been on there. And then so if there's any money on the bonus tiles, then you just get to collect it as well. There are some here at the end of the round. You're going to be able to collect some victory points on them as well. And there's a couple of different ones, and they're pretty self-explanatory what they are. But
if I had taken this one instead,
yeah,
right, and I drop out, at that point when you drop out and you're going to get rid of this, that is when you resolve these. They don't resolve during your turn. It's at the end when you're dropping out, and then you'll resolve it. So this one specifically is I'll score 3 points times my sail. So if I'm on sail 2, I would get 6 points. So I would score my 6 points. I'd put this back. I get to select a new one. I take it. You're supposed to flip it over to mark that you've taken it. And
you just wait until everyone else has passed or dropped out. Yep, exactly. And then you just start the round all over again. And that's basically how you play. And
then there's cleanup.
Well, yes. So phase 3, there's cleanup, which is basically just taking off all the X tokens off of everything. And you want to flip this over too for the next round.
Flip your bonus tiles over.
I'll just go with this one then. And that's basically the cleanup, end of round, and then you start all over again for income.
Any ones that weren't taken, you would put another buck on it. And so some might end up having $2 or whatnot on it. $3, $4, depending how long it sits there.
So you collect victory points throughout the game, but you also collect victory points at the end of the game as well. So at the end of the 5th round, you're going to go through your money. So victory points is 3 coins for 1 victory points. And then you're going to calculate who has the longest route. And you get victory points based off of how many players are playing. So different sides of the boards, they're going to be different victory points. And then that whoever has the most victory points at the end is who wins the game.
Yeah. So $3 turn into $1 or a point.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And then kind of explaining this longest road thing.
You don't need bridges.
You don't need bridges. It's adjacency. So depending on your sail, so let me put a few more pieces out. I'll explain it. So, and then
you want some of mine?
Yeah, I'll give some for Krissy as well.
They're slippery, ain't they?
They are, yeah. So if we got it set up like this, so we would go around and you would check pieces that are within reach and adjacent. So you would go, you'd count your piece. These guys are all adjacent. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then within my reach, I have a sail of 2. So 1, that puts that in reach. 1 would put that in reach. But this is not in reach. Because the sail up to there, I'd need like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get up to there. And this isn't in reach because I don't have a place here. And it's not along the river. So I would only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces that are counting for this largest group. It's not largest road, it's largest group.
Yep. Mine would be 3.
So Krissy's...
I got nothing here. No sail.
So Krissy's would be 3 because she has no boat. If she only had a boat, it would still be only 3 because 1, 2 to get to this place. This place is not connected, and neither is this place.
Yep. Right. Exactly.
So obviously Krissy would have more, but you would...
Just as an example.
Example, yeah. So she'd have 3 to my 6 right off the bat. Right here.
Yep. Exactly.
Right. So it is a little complicated, but it's group pieces. So you'd also, if we went like this to kind of give it a little bit more, because once it's in reach, pieces adjacent to those pieces that are in reach count as your group as well. So
that would all reach.
This would all be considered adjacent to each other.
Yep.
So I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
10.
10.
Yep. But if this wasn't here, if you chose not to build anything there, that's not in reach.
That's not in reach.
Exactly.
Yep.
Because it does happen.
It does.
But yeah, so that's how the biggest connection works. And then the first player, for this one anyways, is 12 victory points. And then the second one is 8 victory points.
So if you ever have a tied for any of the groups, so say 2 people are tied for first, you would take the points for first and second, total them up, and divide them by the tied amount of people. And then that's how you get it out.
Yep. Yep, that is how you would get it out. So we'll jump right into reveal and learning the game.
Learning the game, I was pretty simple. The rule book is not complicated. It's well spelled out.
Yeah, did you read through the rule book after I explained it to you?
Yes.
Yeah, so Nick doesn't like it when other people teach him the game, but he reads the rule books afterwards, and if they're wrong,
I read the rule books, I look at the forums,
even after you learn board games.
I try to understand.
But yeah.
Perfectly, but even I still make mistakes.
I know, and sometimes it's not very often where I teach a board game.
But I really try not to make mistakes, and you guys are really good at finding them.
Which we enjoy.
We enjoy, but I try really hard to, I read the rule book after playing it. I look at the forums for any weird questions. Yeah. And I still miss things sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and it's a lot, right? Like you're reading through everything. It's a lot.
But I'm way more stressed out when someone else teaches me because I don't get the turn to go through the rule book first and explain.
He doesn't like teaching games. So, whatever. But anyways, I made a couple of mistakes because it had been like a month since I had played the game, but I think I did fairly well. You did fairly well.
We got one game down. We're like, okay, now we know. We refreshed on the rule book, and then we win again.
Yeah, exactly.
The second game, after everyone knew what was going on.
It went so quick. Yeah, so playing the game, after you learn it, really no problem learning the game at all. I had no problems learning the game, and I had no problems teaching the game either. Playing the game is fine. It's a fun game. There's lots of strategy in it too, right? Yeah. So
especially at a higher player counts.
Oh yeah.
Because you're really thinking about
you have to get things done before other people get it done if you're playing at a higher player count.
And you really want to be terraforming 2 shovel spaces, right?
No.
You kind of want to be looking for the groups where you only have to spend on the 1 shovel because then you can go a little further.
Yeah, your player aids for the specific factions give you tips on how to play and what your faction kind of does well at. So that's nice too and helps you play the game, especially if you're like a newbie, right, and don't know exactly how you're playing it. But yeah, not that I've ever won the game, but it's never stopped me. I enjoyed playing it.
I won them all.
Yeah, right?
No.
Yeah, no, but they have, oh yeah. I never said it was the playthrough video. But yeah, no, I think playing the game is a lot of fun. It's, I enjoyed it. I had fun playing it.
Yep.
Doesn't matter the player count. I think it's a fun game.
It taught well.
I did.
Yeah, it taught well and it was easy enough to learn. And everything is helpful. They give you player aids. I wish there was multiple player aids.
Yeah, but you know what?
They're simple.
I understand why there's only 2. Because you just place it in between. You're playing usually 4 players, 2 people across from you, 2 people here. You stick that right in the middle, and there you go. So I get it because it's a 2 to 4.
The factions are well explained. They give a little bit of information about it, and they explain it really well. They even give a strategy hint.
Yeah, and I love a double-sided board.
Yeah,
that's different. That's not the same thing.
But everything's on your board too for telling you the actions, how much it costs.
Yep.
It's very straightforward. There's nothing that is kind of ambiguous and not, is it this way or is it not? The only thing that was kind of confusing at the beginning was make habitable and build. You don't spend $6 to make habitable and build. You spend $6 to make habitable, and then
And
if
you still have the option to build.
If you want to build, then
At
you'd
the
have to
cost.
spend the $4.
Yeah. Yeah, because, right, it just says make habitable and build.
Yeah.
It's not specific.
So
that you still have to pay for it.
because you can make habitable and not build. You can terraform it, and someone else can come in and terraform it away from you.
Oh, yeah, because it's not because there's no house on it.
It's not safe until there's a house on it.
Good to know. That
Yeah.
I didn't know. Good to know. All right, so theme for the game.
I don't know. Anything.
We're just terraforming stuff and
I'm putting
building
my
stuff.
buildings on the board, and they need to be my proper color.
yeah, it can definitely be any theme.
Like, do I realize that I'm a sun worshippers and I really care about the sun? Like, there is no sun going on here.
No,
It doesn't matter. You're just looking at your asymmetric ability that makes you unique, and that's it. Right?
I agree. I have a hard time with themes with board games, though, unless it's like a very thematic game.
No, this is an area control, trying to get cities built, or towns built, and trying to get the best spaces for your houses.
Exactly.
For other people.
You're really just playing the game to get the most victory points.
But it looks pretty.
Yeah, oh yeah. So artwork.
Yeah, the artwork is good.
I like the artwork on the factions and everything. They're all really nice.
The boards are well laid out.
They are. They're not very confusing. It's not overly much.
Yeah.
You can easily tell what's going on. But yeah, I like the colors. I like it pops. It's a nice looking board.
Yep, it pops. Yep. It's nice. It's also for artwork. It's pretty simple.
Oh yeah.
You have your faction art on here. Everyone else is, and
you have enough
color.
You have enough going on the board without dousing a whole bunch of artwork on it. It works for what it is. I think it looks good.
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it looks good. It's bright.
Yeah,
it's attractive enough that your eyes are drawn to what's going on, and it's not overwhelming.
No, exactly. It's not. I like the bits too. The components, wooden components. Like, does that look like a palace? I mean, it's got 4 posts.
Yeah.
Right? Trading posts, whatever. But it's nice bits. They're all wooden.
It was always town, bigger building, palace. Always.
Yeah, we always forgot the trading post. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just.
And you can't call it a town.
No.
Right? It's house, trading post, palace, and then everything combined makes a town. Which makes sense. No complaints about components.
No. And these are nice.
Yeah, and they're double-sided because there is another color.
There's 5 factions.
There
are 5 colors with 10 factions.
Yes.
Double-sided.
Yeah, components are fine. I think whatever is cardboard is fine to be cardboard.
Yeah, you get the nice Catan feel with cities and towns.
Trading posts and houses.
Yeah, so that's why.
Just call, little ones and the
cities
little bit bigger
and
ones.
Towns and roads.
It's the bigger version of Catan.
But no, I like it. But so that's components-wise, I like it. I think they're well done. Maybe this could have been something a little bit better. I don't know. But
it looks like a necklace.
Across. Yeah, it's a weird thing.
It's not a.
But I guess it's like,
town.
you're incorporated into a town, so you get the.
I guess so.
I don't know.
I guess so. Yeah. So, what are your overall thoughts on the game?
I like it. I like how it plays. It's straightforward. You'll have these point scoring things per round. Always try to go for that because that's how you get points. You get points 3 ways. 4 ways.
Yeah, if you're really not doing these every round, you're not necessarily getting any victory points until either you move up your sailing or you make things into towns.
So you get points 4 ways, I believe. You get these way. You can get points off of the bonus tiles.
Yeah.
You can get points off of your sailing track.
Yeah.
And you can get points off of making towns.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
So these are really important.
Mm-hmm.
These are also really important.
These are really nice for the very last, the 5th round. Yeah. They are.
And typically, building towns, we usually only get 2 towns built.
I've never gotten more than 2.
No. It's rare. But usually, for sure, you'll get 2 out if you're doing it properly. These are good for scoring end game, or like
end around.
Later on.
Like
the last 2 rounds, trying to grab up the end scoring.
Yep.
That's good, especially if you've built towards it.
Because all the ones that we've played with have all been either houses that are out on the board or how far along you are on sailing and things like that. So the longer throughout the game, right? The 4th and 5th round, you're obviously going to have a lot more of those things out on the board.
But you need to focus. Do not disregard these round points because that is a major way.
Round goals, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, a major way.
Right.
But yeah.
And then at the end, you have the end game scoring, which is really...
That's finicky for you.
It's something.
Yeah, it'll give you extra victory points.
It is.
Yeah.
But everyone else is kind of getting victory points too, right? But, you know, it is something to think of and try to build yourselves in your groups. But you really need to focus on that. Like, if I would have got... Oh, I don't want to talk about the...
Oh, there's a playthrough after this.
Yeah.
Coming out in a couple days, so...
But no, I like it. It's straightforward how you can get points.
Yes. We have Terra Mystica, and Nick has not played it. And since playing this game, now he wants to play Terra Mystica.
I want a little bit more depth.
Yeah, but this is good, though.
But this is good. We're heavy gamers.
Yes.
We play a lot of games. We play a lot of medium to heavy games. That's kind of our spot, medium to heavy.
Yeah.
And so playing this
is like
this was a good...
Scratching an itch?
This is kind of like, okay, now let's build on it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you want to teach someone Terra Mystica and, you know, they're newer to games, this is a great way to kind of bring in the base concepts and then, okay, now let's expand.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
Yep. I enjoyed this game. I'm glad. So we didn't buy this copy. This actually isn't even our copy. A friend of mine came over. We played the game. Yeah. She bought it.
Her copy.
And it's her copy.
It's Chris's copy.
It is Chris. She's been on the channel before.
Yeah, she played there.
So, with you. Yeah, she did. We are making gamers out of her and her husband because they hadn't even owned any board games before us.
She went to a game store.
She went to PAX Unplugged with me.
PAX Unplugged. She spent like $180
on board games.
Shot at board games. Like, we're having an effect.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if it's positive.
More gamers is always fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall thought, we enjoyed this game. It's nice for medium
medium to light players that you're willing to introduce them to a little bit of heavier, trying to build them up to a little heavier game. But just because it's easy does not mean there is no strategy in this. There is no luck in this. Okay? No. There's no rolling dice. There's no random flipping cards.
No.
Especially there's a variant for when you're playing a multiplayer
Yes.
for turn order. So the first person to pass will go
it.
first. The next person to pass will go second, and that way, and
it's
so
completely out of whack.
It you know, there's a benefit of when you pass. Maybe you have some more money, but you know everyone else has got power, and you need to snag a certain power, so you'll pass maybe a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of fun.
There is strategy to this. Just because it's lighter, don't go, oh well, it's
like it's still a medium weight game. It's just lighter.
Like, it's not light. It's not lucky. It's not light like Catan. Okay.
No.
This is still a board game where it is strategy.
Yeah, and for us being heavier board gamers, this was still a good game.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoy lighter games too, right? Especially because they're quicker.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right? You don't feel like you're sitting down for 3 hours and banging out a game. We can bang out one of these games in a half hour.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And it's quick to set up. Once you put the player colors all in one bag, you pull it out, and boom.
That's what we like to do.
It's super quick, right?
Yep. Oh yeah. So.
And the table presence, it doesn't take up a whole lot of space.
No, it doesn't.
The board is not ungodly large. No. They could have made this board extra larger for no reason, just to say they made it a big board, and
no, they made it the right size.
Yeah, it's good space. The player boards, a little large, but because this board is so much smaller,
it works. Yeah,
like, I feel boards are becoming huge these days.
We have a couple of them.
Everything is taking a 6-foot by 4-foot table to the max.
Not this one.
No.
So if you're short on space, this is a good one to take a look at too. So anyways, that is our overview and review for Terra Nova. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we will catch you next time.